What's up, everyone? My name is Matthew Dale. I am here to help you play better, sound great, and understand more. And in this video, I am talking about this little device here. This is the Behringer P1, and this is probably some of the best money that I've ever spent on a piece of, I guess, what I would call studio gear. These things are just absolute easy wins for you. So we're going to talk about why this thing is so good in this video, but real quick, another easy thing for the win column is heading over to my website and downloading my Essential Music Theory cheat sheet. If you want to brush up on the building blocks of music theory, or even if you want to use this document in your private lessons, I use it all the time in my private lessons, and it is a quick and easy reference guide to teach my students. You can head over to matthewdale.com/music theory and download my Essential Music Theory cheat sheet for yourself. So the Behringer P1, what is this and what does it do and why is it awesome? Essentially, this is just a headphone amplifier. If you read the label that is up there, if I can get my camera to focus, it is a personal in-ear monitor amplifier. That is all fancy talk for a headphone amplifier, an in-ear amplifier. But if we take a look at the rest of this, we've also got on the front end here, we got a volume control, we've got a left-right balance control, and on the back, one of the things that makes it so good are these XLR ins. We also have a DC in barrel jack for power, we've got a power switch, and we've got a mono stereo switch on the front here, as well as our headphones in. On the bottom, we have a really robust belt clip, a thread to put it and mount it onto a microphone stand, and on the back, we've got battery power. So this really operates just like any guitar pedal. I've used my one spot to power this up. I've used just a regular 9-volt battery to power this up, and it works really good in both instances. So this device is all about monitoring, and monitoring is horribly important in live playing environments and studio environments, basically wherever, even in production environments, like, me doing this video right now. If I had to listen to more things and I didn't want those more things to bleed into my microphone, I would be using my in-ears and using something like this to give myself a clean monitoring environment that would be very quiet. It probably goes without saying how important monitoring is for live performance. If you can't hear yourself play, or even if you can't hear yourself sing, probably a more, worst case scenario, it is really hard to give your best performance. And the same could also be said in the studio. So let's focus on live use for a second. What are our typical monitoring solutions for live playing environments? Traditionally, performers and bands have used wedge monitors, or wedges, or floor monitors, I guess you could call it as well. Speakers that sit on the floor and send their signal upwards in your general direction. Now, while this setup is a little bit easier, it does have a lot of drawbacks. One huge drawback is volume, and if you have a whole bunch of performers on stage with their own individual wedges, they're going to be competing for their own volume, so the volume floor of the stage will keep escalating, going up and up and up and up and up. You might have to compete with the drummers, so you turn yours up a little bit, and then the guitar players go up a little bit more, and everyone just keeps escalating, and very loud stage volumes can occur with a band that's using a lot of wedges. Floor monitors are also typically very directional in how they are sending their sound. So if I move, slightly left or slightly right or back up, or if I move about the stage, I'm going to lose my optimal monitoring sound. And my monitoring experience is going to be different in all those locations of the stage. So what is the common solution for this? Wireless in-ear monitors. This is the body pack of my preferred Shure PSM 900. It's real small comparatively. Here's the Behringer, and here's this. It's not too much smaller, or the Behringer isn't too much bigger, but this is a lot smaller, a lot more compact. This sends its audio signal over UHF, or ultra high frequency, and this model in particular is the H21 band, 542 to 578 megahertz. Not that that is super important. So using this, I get my direct feed, and usually I have my monitors hooked up in stereo. I get my stereo feed wirelessly sent in to this antenna, into this body pack, and it sends it to the headphone, and there's a headphone amplifier built in here. I turn it up, and away I go, and I can move about the stage and have a relatively quieter monitoring experience, which is going to be safer for my ears, and I have that same monitor mix anywhere I stand on the stage. So what are the challenges of this unit? Well, if you are in a very frequency-dense environment, you could get dropouts. Now, the PSM 900 is a fantastic unit, and I really have never experienced dropouts in the in environments that I've been in. But I've used some other lower tier and mid-tier wireless units that experience dropouts all the time, and they are super annoying. There's also a clever auto scan feature with these, and if you don't have an auto scan feature on your wireless in-ears, and you just have to sift through all of the frequencies just to happen upon a good one, that is also super annoying. I would say another challenge to this is one that is more practical. It's having the knowledge of how to get an appropriate mix, or how to get a good mix in your in-ears, since in-ears are often very isolating. And the other huge drawback of this is they're expensive. The PSM 900 you bought together, so the body pack and the transmitter, that's going to run you close to $1,500. $1,500 for your wireless in-ears. And if you are buying stuff for a band, or buying stuff for your worship team, or for your church, or whatever, your studio, you name it. Now, I wouldn't really need to use this in a studio because, studios, you can have wired stuff going on. I digress, yada, yada, yada. But if you are shopping for wireless in-ears for a church, for a band, the cost adds up very, very quickly. That's where this comes in, the Behringer P1. You'll notice on the back, I'm going to just reiterate here, there is a stereo feed into, and they're on XLRs. I'll circle back around to these connections here in a little bit. A stereo feed into a personal headphone, a personal in-ear monitor headphone amp, and you can get an isolated, basically the same experience as my wireless unit here, but in a wired package. And what is the big benefit? Yes, you would still need to stand in relatively the same location. A lot of us already do that anyway, especially if you were a drummer or a bass player that likes to hang out near the drummer. You're probably going to be standing in one place anyway. Piano player, same sort of deal. So what is the big mega deal about this? Well, Shure PSM 900, fantastic wireless in-ear unit, $1,500, $80. $80 for literally the same monitoring experience that you can get in a wireless in a wired package. That means to fully kit out stereo in-ears for your band, let's say your band is, roughly like 5 people or so, you would actually be under, at $80 per unit, you would be under a third of the price of one of these. That is absolutely insane. I've used these on stage where I use the mount on the bottom to hook this to an open mic stand, and I've used it for piano players, I've used it for drummers, for bass players, and they work fantastic. Usually in a stage environment, I'll just plug in, I'll use the DC, the 9-volt plug-in here, rather than the battery pack, just to save on batteries. Now, if you did want to move around a little bit more, albeit you would need to move around carefully, you could set this up with a battery, do your XLRs in here, and there is a pretty substantial belt clip on here, so you could use this as a belt pack. Now, something that is a really nice feature about this is the mono stereo button. So if I have this in your typical stereo mode and I have a stereo feed here, I can use the stereo knob to just, give me an increase of the left or the right side. This is going to automatically hard pan my stereo signal. But if I am monitoring in mono, and if I put this in mono mode, I can blend together 2 mono signals. Now, why is this a good thing? Maybe from my soundboard, I am on, say, aux 12 or whatever aux it might be. I get my mix sent into channel 1. I could take a direct feed out of my Axe-Fx or my FM3 or my FM9, whatever I'm using for that gig. I could take a direct feed out of one of the outputs, go straight into this unit, and use this blend knob to blend in my guitar signal relative to my band mix that I established from the mixer. And this is great because then you don't need to constantly talk to your sound person, say, hey, can I get some more guitar? Or now it's a little bit too much. Can I get less guitar? Or no, I think I want to go back. I need that more guitar. That is a fantastic use for this, just to very quickly turn yourself up or down at just the small rotation of a knob. Now, there is sort of a tertiary option when we talk about modern soundboard and modern setup monitoring solutions. And that would be a personal monitor mixer. So say the Behringer P16 or the Presonus Ear Mix or the Allen & Heath ME1 or the ME500, name your brand. Aviom, it could be those. Name your brand and name your personal monitor mixer. Those take a network audio feed of any selected 16 channels and give you, the performer, the ability to mix your own monitor experience, mix your own monitors right there in kind of this, little control surface thing. And then they have built-in headphone amps, and you plug in your in-ears there. Sometimes you can also plug those into a powered monitor and adjust the mix of your powered monitor, and you can go from there. Those are a good solution, but they are also pretty expensive, somewhere probably around the $500 range per unit. And they still don't give you any more control than you can have with this. And here's why. Most current digital mixers give you the ability to connect a phone or a tablet app to control an individual monitor mix. So on one hand, you could pay, let's say, $500 to give someone a 16-channel digital headphone personal monitor mixer, or you could still pay $80, download a free app on your phone, and have the same level of control that you can send to this stereo little box of magic. Now, a little bit more on the Behringer itself. There are similar units like this. There is one in particular that I know that is about this size from Shure, and it has, rather than like the two XLRs, the XLR females down here, it has a separate cable with a splitter and a pigtail that's two XLRs. I really don't like that solution because it's just one extra cable. Every venue, every theater, and every place that I've played has XLRs literally everywhere. You can always find an XLR cable, which means if that breaks, you can just swap this out really easily. If your custom splitter with its own proprietary connector to this sort of thing breaks, you're kind of SOL. And the Shure unit that is the equivalent to this is $550. That's getting into wireless in-ear unit territory for a wired unit, albeit I guess it's a very nice wired unit, but still, I'd rather just pay $80. Presonus also makes something that is very similar to this, but again, the Presonus one does not feature the built-in XLR connectors. It has a separate pigtail with a splitter, and I've already talked about why I don't like that. So the Behringer P1, it is deceptively simple, it is highly reliable and robust, and it is extremely, extremely useful. Everyone should have one of these for something. It's only $80, and it's going to be probably the best $80 that you will spend on studio-related gear ever, because it is so useful. I will have a link if you want to learn some more information about this or even buy one yourself. I will have an affiliate link to Sweetwater in the description box below this video. In the description box, I have a list of all the gear that I use on a day-to-day basis that I know and trust and rely upon constantly. It's all of my favorite stuff, and you can find it over at Sweetwater. These are affiliate links, so if you do go on to purchase, a portion of that purchase will come back to help support this channel, and I thank you very much. My name is Matthew Dale. I am here to help you play better, sound great, and understand more, and I will see you in the next video.